Hi, my loves. Welcome to StarMagicTarot and Intuitive Guidance. My name is Ashli, and I'm here to offer you divine guidance based on my intuition and tarot reading. I look forward to sharing the messages that come to me. Thanks for tuning in.
Hi, my loves. Thank you for tuning in to Star Magic Tarot and Intuitive Guidance. I'm Ashli, and today we're going to discuss grief, how we deal with grief, and how grief has the ability to seep into all areas and aspects of our lives. So, a listener wrote in, we'll call her Jay. My name is Jay. I'm 33 and will be 34 in 34 days. I lost my mom in December. We've had a very interesting relationship. So interesting that right before her sudden passing, we weren't speaking. This has been a difficult year, work issues, friend issues, etc. I don't always feel like myself. Would love a reading. So I meditated on Jay's energy and a lot came up. Right now I'm feeling this wave of sadness, of grief, and what came up during my meditation was sadness, pain, grief, a feeling of not being heard, but also in not being able to communicate, not feeling safe and secure enough to express true emotions and thoughts and feelings. Boundaries also came up strongly for me. I feel like maybe your relationship, there was some element of abuse in your relationship with your mom, whether that was a role reversal where you sometimes felt like you had to take on the role of the parent, or like your mom just wasn't present or didn't step up in a way that you needed. But I also felt like perhaps your mom, or you felt like your mom was maybe too stubborn or too controlling. I feel like you felt confined as a child, like unable to be yourself, share your voice, express yourself authentically. But I also feel like there's been generational trauma, ancestral trauma, and maybe, and I felt like your mom was also maybe very wounded, and so her traumas and her not having the awareness to consciously deal with her trauma led her to behave a certain way towards you, or it seeped into all areas of her life, or it definitely helped shape her view of life and relationships and parent-child relationships, and definitely informed her actions. I also feel like it is possible for you to do this work and find forgiveness, not just for your mom, but for yourself, in finding compassion for yourself. Not just compassion for yourself as the adult that you are today, but especially compassion for yourself as the child you once were. So, I think that was it for my meditative session. Let's see what the cards have to say. I always pray when I shuffle my cards. I said the prayer before my meditation to receive divine messages, but I always pray. I'm using the Afro Tarot deck by Jessi Jumanji. Love this deck. Love this deck. The overall energy is the Two of Cups. For me, this signifies leading with love. Leading with love. Traditionally, the Two of Cups represents soulmate energy, heart-to-heart connection, a meeting of the minds, and perhaps there is someone in your life who can actually help you and offer some guidance and assistance in your healing journey. Your mom, for me, is coming through healing. I feel like you need to realize that it is possible for you to not only continue your connection with her, your relationship with her, but improve it even in her improve your relationship with her even in her passing. Your mom, and even in my meditation session, it came through that your mom wants to help you heal and release that trauma, not just for you, but for her and her parents and generations before. I feel like maybe your mom had either an absent parent or someone who emotionally wasn't available, or just general challenges with her relationship with her mom. And that definitely informed her on how to love, how to express love, or really how not to express love. The first card out is the Sun. Traditionally, the Sun is the happiest card in the deck. But for me, right now, the Spirit definitely wants you to know that this period of grief that you're going through, it's in service of your highest good, even if you don't necessarily realize that right now. You will gain clarity and a better understanding of who you are, who you're meant to be, the trauma that still plagues you, really, that you haven't fully let go of or even fully come to understand exactly how certain events that happened in your life have affected you. And this clarity will bring healing. The Sun gives life. It gives life to everything that's living. And so this clarity serves as the Sun in that it will give you life. Following the Sun is the Seven of Cups in reverse. So the Seven of Cups in reverse again represents clarity. This for me, and it came up during my meditation as well, guidance for you to avoid alcohol, avoid substances. This is not the time to abuse alcohol, drugs, or any vices that you may tend to turn towards in times of stress. So really, actually, now is an opportune time for you to explore the possibility of becoming sober, if not for indefinitely, then at least for right now. for a minimum of 7 months. I'm advising you to maybe try being sober for a year, but start with 7 months and take it day by day. Don't lose your spirituality. Now's the time for you to try to deepen your connection with the divine. Don't lose faith. When we suffer grief, immense feelings of grief, we can often feel inclined to lose faith, break away from tradition, and perhaps, what I'm saying isn't, I'm not suggesting you become super religious, especially if you've never been religious, but you might want to explore different spiritual options, or look into whether that's yoga, meditation, chanting. This will help you break free from any energetic ties that you feel bonded to, whether it's tradition or like rules, conditionings that forced you to believe in certain things or behave a certain way, or made you feel confined or restricted or controlled. Break free from that. But in doing that, find the divinity within yourself. Don't lose faith. And I say that because the Hierophant is the next card in the deck. And traditionally, the Hierophant upright, it represents structure, faith, contracts, tradition, intuition. But deepening your spirituality in a non-religious sense, but just in that recognizing that we're all divine beings, we all have divinity within us, we're all one, the oneness of everything that lives, of everything that exists, that's ever existed, that will ever exist. That'll free you from the confines of whatever it is that's restricting you, false beliefs, whatever it is that you're holding on to, or you felt contracted to in some way, that needs to be broken. But I do feel like you have a fear of insincerity, disingenuine people, being hurt even, and that causes you to not express your feelings of love, not express your emotions in general. And I feel like this is stemmed from childhood, and perhaps even your relationship with your mom. And I say this because the next card out is the Knight of Cups in reverse. There we go. The Knight of Cups in reverse. But that's what's actually keeping you constricted. This lack of this healing will open up your heart chakra. Focus on your heart chakra. And that came during my meditation as well. This being able to receive love, being able to trust love, being able to give love. That clarity that perhaps you'll gain in finding a spiritual practice that resonates with you will heal this, will heal your heart. And in the center of your reading is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords represents communication. The pages are messengers. Communication, but also perhaps learning. So again, the heart of your reading is perhaps even all about learning who you truly are. Learning about what resonates with you. Learning to communicate. Learning to exploring your spirituality again. And it's gonna be, the next card out is the Knight of Pentacles. It's gonna be perhaps a slow effort, right? But slow and steady wins the race. Don't stop. Spirit is warning you not to stop. Don't let grief inhibit you from claiming the life you deserve. That's full of love, that's full of deep, soulful connection, that's full of richness and freedom and healing and growth and expansion. And therapy, counseling. Be easy with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Restore, replenish. Your mom died, it's been a year now. This isn't something that's going to, it's a slow and steady process. It might take you 4 years to start to feel normal again. I mean, it might take you 4 months, right? After you receive this message, it might take you, it doesn't matter, right? How long it takes you, as long as you get to healthy, as long as you realize that this is all a part of your journey, contributing to your life experience in the best way possible, so that you can live freely and realize that you deserve love, and you are love, and you deserve to give love, and to be able to express yourself freely and vibrate at your highest frequency, and live a full, happy, loved life. Life full of love and joy. The next card out is the Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords, can you see that? Is all about healing, taking time to rest, taking time to pause, therapy, some sort of counseling, self-care. Really explore what that means to you. Think about it. How can you show your self-care today, tomorrow, and every day for the rest of your life? But even when we heal, that's the thing about healing, is that people tend to think, oh, I've dealt with this issue, I've healed it, I've confronted it, and now I get to move on and let it go, and it's gone, and it's disappeared, and I'm perfect again. And you know what? No, healing is a process. That is a huge misconception about healing and growth and spirituality. Healing is a process. It comes in waves. And we have layers and layers of trauma and pain and suffering and conditioning that we get to peel back to finally at some point find the heart of our core authentic selves. But even as we peel back those layers and become more aware of how we've been affected by our relationships, by our trauma, by society, all of those events, we realize there is no single event that defines who we are as people, that can define our future, and or that certainly defines our present. Yet even still, when we heal, when we become aware, when we grow, as we grow, it's all still there. It doesn't erase the past. Healing just it shifts your perspective and allows you to realize who you truly are. But those things that happen to us, the feelings, the emotions that we once felt, that we maybe didn't allow ourselves to feel, and that have come up, that we've purged, all of that's all a part of our history, and it's all contributed to who we are today, to who we're becoming, to who we've always been, to us discovering who we've always been, and our true power and our true nature. These moments, they're stepping stones that serve a purpose, a beautiful purpose, but that does not mean that all of a sudden we're unaffected. Life is about being affected. So yes, we're healing. We're all healing, and you will heal from this too. But the grief comes in waves. And instead of trying to block it, that's the 5 of Cups, which represents grief. Instead of trying to block it, let it flow. Let it flow through you, and realize that, make the choice, the conscious decision that I will not continue to misidentify with my grief. I will not continue to misidentify with the events that happened in my life. I will not continue to misidentify with the trauma I've experienced. None of it defines you. Not a single minute. None of it defines you. And yes, healing will happen, but there's some element of the pain, of the scar, that'll always be there. Don't try to deny it or negate it or judge it. Acknowledge it. And that brings freedom. And the last card out, speaking of freedom, is the Devil in reverse. So again, love, you are releasing unhealthy patterns, false beliefs, trauma, codependency, low vibrations, dark energy. This is a purging process. This year was a year full of purging. Just let it flow and realize and accept the beauty of everything that's happened in this last year for you. The losing friendships, the pain, the confrontation, the anger, the resentment, the pain, the suppression of emotions. It's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. It starts with taking a good look at yourself. It starts with taking a good look at your past. And listening and observing instead of judging. So that's all I have for you, and I hope the message resonates. and remember to love yourself. I'm sending you so much love and light and positive energy and high vibrations and healing and joy. Take care.